Skipping Through Theatre podcast with Nathan and Maddie.
Hello, welcome back to another Skipping Through Theatre episode. Today our special guest is Arwen Prosser.
Some of her credits include KFC Nation of Builders, Barclaycard Bespoke Services and Volkswagen Polo.
We are so happy to have her on today's episode, so let's begin.
Hello Arwen, we are very happy to have you on our last podcast episode for the year. How are you doing?
Oh, thanks for having me, guys. Yes, I'm doing very well, thank you. Very well. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Okay, so our first question, what inspired you to be an actor?
Oh, good question. Straight in there. I can't think of a specific direct memory that made me go, right, that is it. That is what I want to do. I was actually quite an introvert as a child. So it would be the exact polar opposite of the kind of career that you might have imagined me going into as a child. There was something about being somebody else and storytelling and being able to inhabit a completely different world that I found just extremely appealing. So I don't remember a specific light bulb moment of I know what I want to do. It was kind of whenever anybody asked me as a child growing up, what do you want to do when you grow up? It was always I'm going to be an actor.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
That's so nice. What's the process of being casted into an advert?
Okay, so Nathan, I'm sure you're probably a bit of a pro at this now as well. It's a whole different world. Getting cast into an advert now than what it used to be in the olden days. In the olden days, it used to be a very simple go to a first meeting and then go to a recall. And then in theory, generally, you'd either be offered the job or not. But now we're obviously in this realm of you do a self-tape, you might do multiple self-tapes, and then generally there's a recall in person. And usually that's at the point at which you would be asked to hold the dates free, which is called a pencil. And then following that, you're either booked onto the job and in communication with production, or you are released from pencil, unfortunately.
That's so much to do.
It's so convoluted and you spend so much time at the initial stages. And these days, the amounts of self-tapes that you submit that are then taken through to a recall is so much less frequent because they see more people, I think. I think Imogen touched on it when you guys interviewed her. This process is, you used to go to an audition and you would probably recall a good proportion of the initial auditions that you'd attend. But now there are so many people able to submit a self-tape, which is absolutely amazing on the one hand. And certainly for me, as a mum, having it so much more accessible is fab, but it does just mean that it's opened it out to so many more people. So the likelihood of being recalled and penciled is a bit slimmer these days.
Me and Maddie know that you've done a KFC advert, Halifax and a Barclaycard, and loads more, which is amazing. And which one is your favourite?
Oh, my favourite. It absolutely has to be the VW. I don't know if you saw that one. It was a VW Polo commercial. It followed the story of a little girl growing up, the relationship between her and her dad. And then the end of the advert, he sort of gifts her a car to go off to university or to go and live the rest of her life. And it was the nicest commercial to work on. We were on the job for about 2 weeks, and you'll know, Nathan, from the process that we went through with the Quaker ad. You become so close and you spend so much time together on set, and I felt a bit emotional saying bye to you guys. Well, you and Cora when we were leaving, when we were done filming, because you do inhabit these worlds together, don't you?
You do.
But that one was we filmed in so many different places. It took about 2 weeks because it was such a long and very story heavy commercial, so it was filmed in multiple different locations. So the crew and the cast just all got on like a house on fire, and because we had that concrete amount of time together, it was a bit it was emotional saying goodbye, but it was also just a really beautiful little story to film.
It really was.
Oh,
that's lovely. Who helped you the most with your career?
I think there are multiple people that need to be kind of thanked in as part of this process, because there are so many people. It takes so many people to support us through this industry, doesn't it? I'd say first and foremost my family. My parents instilled in us a belief that we had the power and the capacity to go and do whatever we wanted to do, and that we should, as long as we were prepared to work, we should seize any opportunity and go for it. And I think that fundamental foundation was a real catalyst, you know, kind of follow your dreams. My eldest brother had very profound mental and physical disabilities, and my mum and dad issued us with like a command kind of from being very, very young to sort of say, you need to go and grab life, go and live a life and a half, because there'll be opportunities that come your way that just won't be there for your brother. And I think for me, that was a really big, like, yeah, I can and I will. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you're living with somebody that can't do, and you have the capacity, you've got to seize every opportunity. And then obviously there've been wonderful teachers along the way, and I've got a really, really fabulous agent now who understands me and what I'm trying to do and is unbelievably supportive.
That's amazing. So what do you do outside of your acting career?
Currently, I am planning a renovation project. So we bought a really old farmhouse a year or so ago, and we've just submitted planning permission. So I'm kind of project managing that, as well as obviously taping whenever I can for commercials, because I only do commercials these days. I used to do full acting, but at the moment, with everything else going on, I just do the commercials. So I'm doing the renovation and I'm parenting. That's filling the vast majority of my time at the moment.
That must be busy.
Yeah, it's fairly busy, yeah. It's fairly busy. But I think this industry, it's ebbs and flows, isn't it? So sometimes I'll be really manically busy. There'll be lots of tapes going on. I'll be in and out of London. And then other times it's a bit tumbleweedy, to be honest. But that's fine. You've got to roll with it, haven't you?
Yeah.
Do you have a fun or humorous memory you can share from your career?
Yeah, so I feel like what happens on set should stay on set. And obviously, you know, everybody's vulnerable and respect the other actors, but there is one story that feels like it's a bit too good to be true. And we'd filmed a really long take. I'm not going to name him because I feel like it could be quite embarrassing. We'd filmed this really long, really intricate take, and I was working opposite an actor that had spent the entire thing with a fairly reasonable sized bogey up his nose.
Oh no!
I just persevered, thinking it's probably
That's awful.
I know, and so I was like, oh, I can't, there's no way of subtly letting him know that it's there because we're in the middle of this take. But nobody else has said anything, so it obviously isn't on camera. And then the director pulled him to one, so we finished the take and everybody was like, yeah, great, well done, because it was a really intricate long shot. They pulled him to one side. The director had this little word with him, and he came back, and we just we couldn't pull it back together. We couldn't pull it back together for the second take because it had just been, it was so obvious. But he did the whole thing. Yeah, poor guy. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
That'd be so embarrassing.
You'd have thought somebody would have picked up on it earlier, makeup, or somebody would have, you know, just had a little...
100%.
Could you just give your nose a little blow? Do you know what I mean? But evidently
Yeah.
I felt so sorry for him, but also, you know, he saw the funny side. It's fine.
Yeah.
Oh,
cheeky
if
bogey.
I do advert with you again, please tell me if that's happened to me, okay?
Oh, 100%. You know, it was fairly early on in my commercial career, and I didn't want to waste any time, and I was really conscious of, you know, every take, and I didn't want to be the person to stop a take. So I was just like, look, just swallow the laugh. They obviously can't see it. Get over it. And I wish I had, just at the top of the take. But no, Nathan, don't you worry. Yeah. I'll tell you if you've got a stray bogey.
Thank you. Okay, so a few episodes ago, we had Imogen Lever join us, who you know, and she was in the Quaker advert with us, and you were as well. So what role did you play, and what was it like? People at home.
Oh, I played mum to my lovely kids Nathan and Cora. It was great, wasn't it? It was a really cool shoot. I don't know if you got that vibe, Nathan, but I walked on set basically like watching what the guys were doing in that stunt spy sequence, thinking, when I grow up, I want to be a stunt person. I had major role envy. I wanted to get on those wires and have a little play. It looked like, I mean, hard work, obviously, but it looked like so much fun. But our role was, well, you got to be a spy, didn't you?
Yeah, I did actually.
You were Spy Junior.
It was very fun.
Yeah.
With your glasses. With your really cool glasses.
And the mini me
and your suit.
Yeah.
Yes.
You four looked absolutely epic, and then I was just, kind of boring old mum telling you off for having a good old climb in the cupboard, rummage around.
Do you know what? Arwen? I just remembered something, and I just found it up in my cupboard. Do you recognise this noise?
No, no way.
Chicken.
No way, it lives. Oh my gosh.
I've got it up on my shelf, on my musical theatre shelf and my memory shelf.
Oh, that chicken. The chicken. Yeah, I feel like that thing haunts my dreams.
Oh no.
Be honest, how often do you give it a little squeeze?
Probably quite a few times a week, maybe. Yeah. It's my memory.
The chicken should have had a credit, I think. That chicken.
Yeah, surely at the end, it should have.
100%. Can you imagine if it had just popped onto screen, chicken run style?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
And then whilst we were filming, Arwen was squeaking the chicken under the table, which made me and Cora giggle. Like, we could not stop laughing at all.
Oh, it was really good.
Spit out my Quaker chili.
Oh dear, it was good fun. I found it very difficult to keep the chicken under the table. To be honest, the chicken had a mind of its own.
Yeah. Arwen was obsessed with making the chicken dance as well.
Yes, the chicken had some good moves.
What dance moves? Break dancing?
I think he was trying to moonwalk. I'm not entirely sure, but do you remember I scratched the table? I was trying to. The chicken was quite bendy and really going with it, so I was just kind of. Yeah, just doing a bit of a moonwalky drag back on the little chicken claws, but I made a red mark on the table. Nobody noticed.
Oh no!
We kept that one quiet. Sorry, I ruined the props.
So the chicken is Michael Chickinson then. Michael Jackson.
Michael Chickinson.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I think we need to move on now.
We're getting distracted. Okay. In your best commercial voice, try and advertise Nathan's hairbrush.
The Hargreaves hairbrush detangles even the most awkward of your children's curls.
I love
the Hargreaves hairbrush. Go on, Nathan.
I love that so much.
That was amazing. Oh my god, I'm losing my voice.
Oh, I'm glad you like. Hargreaves hairbrush, it can never be anything else. I hope you get everything personalised now.
Yes. Okay, so our last question now, sadly, for the year. What advert had the weirdest audition process?
So, oh gosh, okay. So there was one, it was quite a long time ago. It was pre-COVID, so it was way before we were doing any of this taping sort of stuff. And I'd gone to the commercial casting, the initial round, and it was quite futuristic, quite kind of spacey. I can't remember I think it was for a mobile phone or something, but I remember it was to film in Brazil. And I'd got through the first round, and then I think it was just we went straight to recalls. But there was something I remember my agent sort of saying, it's gonna shoot really, really quickly after the recall. So you're gonna have to be prepared to sort of jump on a plane, quickity slicks, sort yourself out, get everything ready. Is your passport in date? There were only 2 of us in the last round of recalls. And then they got a call on the day of the final recall, basically saying, we're on a really, really tight timeline. You are going to need to fly out immediately after the recall. And I was like, oh my God. It was like something from reality TV. It was like, we're going to decide literally today, and then whoever is going, whoever gets the job is literally going to have to get on a flight. I think it was Rio. It was to Brazil anyway, but you've literally got to go and get on a flight tonight. It was, like those reality TV programs where, I'm a celebrity or something, where they're like, grab your suitcase. Yeah, it was like, it was something. It was so bizarre. I mean, needless to say, I didn't get that one. And in some respects,
that's
I'm quite
chaotic.
I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I can't get my head around sitting in a meeting doing a final audition, and then them finishing they took us out into a little room afterwards, and they were just deliberating. They were on Zoom. They were like doing calls to try and figure out who they were going to move forward with. And then the casting director literally came out of the room and said, "Girls, thank you so, so much. It's been an amazing process. Thank you for all of your, all your hard work and everything. But Arwen, basically you can go. Thank you so much. Bye bye." And I just wheeled my little suitcase out. Bye then. And presumably the other girl just went and got on her flight. Can you imagine? Just
gosh.
being sat in
Why
your
don't
casting.
they pre-plan it?
Yeah.
Why don't they pre-plan that?
Commercials. I don't know. I think there was
That's
something.
crazy.
It was maybe something to do with visas or something that they needed. You needed to get there early for. I have absolutely no idea. But I think they were also just taking their time to decide. And it had come down to the knuckle, and the clients going, right, it has to be today that we figure this out because we need them on set like tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. So, yeah.
That's crazy.
I don't know.
That's such high expectations.
It's mad, isn't it? And it was a 2-week job. It was to film for 2 weeks. So it wasn't like you were just disappearing for a day or two. I just don't know how people...
Yeah.
How do you move your life around to that extent?
Yeah. Especially if you've got kids as well, like you got like
Mummy may
when
or
they
not
come home from
may or may not be back tonight.
Yeah, your kids come home from school. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm going. Bye bye for 2 weeks. See ya. You won't have like get anyone to babysit or anything.
No, absolutely. So, I couldn't be up for that kind of thing now for sure. But in the olden days, pre-children, I probably would have got on that flight without questioning. That's mad, isn't it? I would have. Somebody would have said 2 weeks in Rio. Yes, please.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Arwen. It's been a pleasure having you on today's podcast. Merry Christmas.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, guys. It's been gorgeous chatting with you. Have a great Christmas.
Bye.
Skipping Through Theatre podcast with Nathan and Maddie.